a necromancer. While I admire your courage in seeking out the darker side of magic, we really have little need of your skills. The battle will turn soon enough without your meddling. Yet, I should have expected to see your kind here. You are like a moth to the flame, drawn to all this death. It feeds you in more ways than one, does it not?
Today's guide is going to be about a Bone Necro, which is probably the best starter if you don't have any gear. If you're playing solo, it's hardcore, so self-found viable. The reason why it's so strong is that you have magic damage, which there are very few enemies that are immune to that or resistant to magic damage. You can be very safe with Decrypt Curse, Blood Golem that can heal you, Bone Armor that can protect you with physical damage. All around a pretty safe and very strong character, and you even have mobility with Convocation that allows you to teleport with a cooldown. For the skill tree, for P&B spells, you want to max out Thief. It's going to be your leveling ability, big AoE, decent damage. Bone Spear is going to be your main ability in the mid and late game. Like it's on the tooltip, 2 additional spears while having a total of 100 energy. So if you have energy points from your gear, it also goes into that. You don't need 100 hard points like right now. I have 102 energy. Some of it is from my gear, so all you need to have is 100 total. And you max the other synergy, which is Bone Spirit. And after that, you have the choice. Do you want to max Bone Wall to get more defense from Bone Armor? Or do you want to max Convocation for more mobility? So if you want more defense, you might be tempted to put points in Bone Armor, but if you do that, like you can see, you only get 15 per level if you put hard points in Bone Armor, but if you put points in the synergies, you get 20 damage absorbed. So it's better to max out Bone Wall instead of Bone Armor. But it's up to you if you want more mobility or more defense. And for the summoning spells tree, you want to put 1 point in Summon Mastery. It's optional, but personally I really like putting 1 point in Revive. Right now I have 2 monsters, but with 1 plus all skill I would have 3, so it's pretty good. And you want 1 point in Blood Golem. Blood Golem is just very, very strong and heals you a ton and heals your party too, so very, very good. And for stats, you want enough strength for your gear. Dex, I'm not going max block with this build. I would not really recommend it. I think if you want to go max block, it's all better on either Poison Necro or Emerge Necro. I would go max block with that. And I want a total of 100 energy like I said before, so gear and hard points count towards the total 100 energy, and the rest in vitality. For the FCR and FHR breakpoint, I will try to hit the 75% FCR breakpoint. The next one is 125. It's not that difficult to hit. Obviously, if you can, go ahead, but I think 75 is more than enough for this build. I don't think you need more than that. And for FHR can be pretty annoying to get, especially if you're not using Spirit Weapon or Shield. Right now I have 29, so I have the 26% FHR breakpoint. The next one's going to be at 39, so it can require a lot of charms to hit that. So I think the 26 or 39 are perfectly fine. And for gear, the best in slot for Bone Necro is a White Wand. You can shop base in Act 2 from Drognen with 3 to Bone Spear. The dream would be 3 Bone Spear and Convocation points. The one I have right now is just a 3 Bone Spear and Confuse, but don't really care about Confuse. This rune word is insanely strong and it's a best in slot. It's even better than Auto. Like Auto gives you more FCR and res, but I'd rather use white. Like it gives 8 to Bone Spear, which is insane. For armor, right now I'm using a Skin of Vapor Magi. It's a pretty bad one, but you really don't need it. You can buy one CNC for very cheap. But if you don't have anything, a stealth is fine. You might struggle with res, but it's fine. Smoke is very good and easy to get. It's just a lum rune. This is probably what people are gonna be running on day one because it's only a lum rune. Something like Nash Light Plate is very good. The strength requirement is not that bad. Gives life, res, and 1 all skill. I got a 2% life corruption, but doesn't really matter. For shield, I'm using a rhyme. It's very strong for, you know, just a shell at with a base with 3 bone spear, 2 decrepify. It gives res, regen, mana regen, cannot be frozen, some MF. The faster block and the block chance is not really doing anything because I'm not putting any points in deck, so, and it's not really needed with this build. You can also use something like a Bone Flame, a Homunculus, I don't have one right now, or a Spirit Shield. Spirit Shield is very strong also. They're all 3 pretty decent option. Bone Flame I would say is probably the weaker one and it's fairly rare. And for gloves I'm using Trank gloves. This is something I would suggest investing in just because every Necro build actually uses these. If you want to respec to poison, this is the best in slot. If you want to go Emerage Necro, this is best in slot. And just overall caster gloves, really good. It gives you cold res and 20 FCR. It's very, very good. But you can also use Mage Fist, gives you 20 FCR, mana regen. Or something like Blood Fist, gives you life, faster recovery. Or just some rare gloves with res is also fine. For a helmet, I'm using a Shaco. You could also be using a Lore, which is Ord Soul. It gives you 1+ skill. Mana per kill, energy, all around very, very strong helmet. Or Peasant Crown, it's also very good. It gives you energies, 20 energy, so it saves you quite a bit of points for your Bone Spear synergy. Amulet, I'm using a 3 bone and poison skill with 85 life. You can shop one of these. Obviously the 85 life is very rare, but just a simple 3 bone skill amulet, it can be shopped or traded for like 1 of corruption. It's very cheap. For rings, I'm using 2 FCR and res ring. This one's really insane, triple res. But yeah, any ring with FCR and res are very, very good. Mana per kill is a plus. For belt, I'm using a caster belt. Caster belts are actually pretty easy to craft a good one because you always get FCR, mana regen, and then what you want is FHR, res, or life. So I think it's really worth it early ladder to try to craft these. I have another one right there with also double res and strength. Strength can be really good if you want to use a spirit shield. Helps a lot. You could also use Thunder God, but I would only recommend it if you're planning to use a spirit shield because this is a really good defensive belt. It's used a lot on hardcore, not as much on softcore. The 20 strength is pretty nice for if you want to use a spirit. The 20 vitality gives you life. The maximum lightning res and the lightning absorb makes you very tanky against lightning damage, so that's pretty nice. And on switch, what I'm using is a desecrate one, so I can create corpses for my revives, but it's optional, you don't really have to use it. And a lidless wall, just for the FCR and skill. Aiming the spears can be something you're gonna have to get used to. If you put your cursor towards your character, the spread's gonna be larger, and if you put it further or target an enemy, other spear's gonna be closer. But keep in mind that you cannot shotgun with bone spear. With this build you can pretty much farm anywhere. The only place that you're gonna see magic immune is the second wave of Bale, and farming Bale is not really worth the time anyway, except if you're trying to get the Bale essence. It takes way too long, and the XP is good obviously, but it's better to farm Chaos Sanctuary or Pits or something like that. Even though it might not be the fastest in the late game, you can pretty much do anything It's like the jack of all trades. Just note that the spears cannot shotgun. That means if you hit a enemy with multiple bone spear, it's not gonna do anything. They're only gonna take damage from one bone spear. There are very few abilities in this game that can shotgun. Things like charge bolt, charge strike, infernal trap. This build is very popular as a starter, so early ladder, the poison and bone skillers can be pretty expensive, but you don't really need them, to be honest. If you have your white one and spirit shield or whatever shield you want to use and random caster gear, you're gonna be able to clear super easily like I am right now. You can easily stack magic find and gold find and farm things like Trav, or just MF and kill Eldritch and Shenk. They're very fast run, and with your convocation you're very fast. So you have the choice of farming high density area or just killing bosses or unique packs. Bone Necro is one of the fastest builds to be able to farm chaos safely. Just with your minions and your mercenary, you're gonna be able to clear CS really quickly. You have pretty decent AoE. This area is one of the best places to farm with Bone Necro if you can. It has a high density and a lot of unique monsters, and also Diablo, which is level 94, so you can get anything there pretty much. Since this build is not the best for mapping, Chaos Sanctuary is my favorite place to farm with Bone Necro. In this one I'm using smoke armor, peasant crown, and no skillers. In the previous run I had 4 PNB skillers. So this is gear you can easily have day 1. And the clear spirit is very similar, as you can see.
Death can save you from me.
This build is not the fastest for mapping, but it's also not the worst. Currently I don't have a torch, I don't have full skillers, I only have 4. And the clear speed is okay. Obviously this map didn't have the most density. If you're gonna plan mapping with this build, you do want to do some maps like Musty Crypt, Desecrated Temple, Icy Cavern, just because they're small corridors, it's easier for you to hit everything. With your spears, open maps can be a lot worse, like Frigid or the Desert. Out of the popular Necro build, this is probably the slowest mapper. Things like Corpse Explosion Necro, Poison Necro, or Hemorrhage Necro are faster than this. But getting to maps, Bone Necro is one of the best, and it can still map at fairly okay pace. And Bone Necro is probably the most tanky out of the other builds, just because you get a lot of points in the bone armor and its synergy. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. You can check out my YouTube channel for more guides, or my Twitch channel is going to be in the description. Thank you for watching and take care.